All right. Check one, two, three. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is MJ Edwards here, and welcome to the Ramley. We have a lot of news to talk about between NFL, college, high school. It could be natural disaster. We've got a ton. So let's get into it. So, two sneaky Cincinnati Bengals candidates entering 2025 training camp. O-line Cordell Volson. Number 2, RB Zach Moss. And that's it. Next. Oops. Let's see here. Todd Gurley blindly ranks the NFL RBs, included Rams Kyren Williams. Let's see what this is about. Oh, I see what they mean. Okay, we'll skip that. Let's see here. Ryan Day headlines the 2025 award watch list of elite coaches. The Ohio State football program is coming off a national championship, which is by far the best thing on Ryan Day's resume. He helped the Buckeyes win their first title in a decade, becoming the first champion in the 12-team CFP era. It was quite the achievement. Despite the fact that Day has now coached two different teams to a national title appearance, he has never won a major coaching award. He has never been the Big Ten Coach of the Year, nor has he won any national coaching awards. He's hoping to change that in 2025. Next. ESPN's 2025 preseason college football power index sells in Illinois set short. For all the college football pundits who agreed that Illinois is in position to deliver one of its best ever seasons and at the very least shapes up as a preseason top 25 program, there is one expert with a widely dissenting take. ESPN just released its algorithm based college football power index for the 2025 preseason, which projects the Illinois almost incomprehensibly at number 44 among Division 1 schools. FPI's projected win-loss outcome 6.8 and 5.2, and probability of making the college football playoff 3.8% and somehow more bleak. Next, former Browns quarterback Brian Sipe gives his take on the new stadium. Former Cleveland quarterback Brian Sipe was the latest to share his opinion on the Browns' decision to build an indoor stadium in Brook Park. This comes after the Browns officially announced that they would be constructing a new dome stadium 15 minutes from downtown Cleveland in Brook Park. In a recent article by Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com, Sipe shared some heartfelt moments of his time with the Cleveland Browns and offered his thoughts on the team moving out of downtown Cleveland. "I'll never forget the walk through the city down to the stadium," he said. "The closer you got to the stadium, the more it was like streams feeding a river. The chanting would get louder and louder, and the enthusiasm was just peaking by time you started crossing the Beltway there." Sipe also highlighted the elements of cold weather, toughness, and dedication that define Browns fans and outdoor football. That was a signature of being part of Browns football, that you showed up regardless of the conditions and distractions, and you played football, and that's all that mattered, said Sipe. The former leader of the Cardiac Kids, Browns teams of 1979 and 1980, was candid in reliving memories of the downtown football experience. As expected, he acknowledged that many aspects of the downtown Cleveland football tradition will not carry over to Brook Park, and that this move will have a lasting effect of fan traditions when the stadium relocation happens in 2029. While many former players and fans have shared this opinion about the Browns' move to Brook Park, the team has no intention of changing its plans to build the new dome stadium. And there's a video.
Step for the future home of the Cleveland Browns in Brook Park.
We've been excited about this. When you know the totality of the facts and circumstances of this project, it's a win for the state, it's a win for Northeast Ohio, and it's certainly a win for Brook Park.
Mayor Ed Orcutt and the Planning Commission holding a special meeting Tuesday with a presentation by Haslam Sports Group approving the rezoning of 176 acres along Snow Road from industrial to a planned unit development district.
A $2.4 billion stadium and $800 million to another $1 billion of mixed-use private development.
A city within a city at Ohio's first dome-enclosed stadium, built by the summer of 2029.
This will transform not only your community, but this entire region.
The project clearly getting strong support from all of the trade unions locally, who say the jobs alone from creating this will be enormous.
It's such a vast project that not only is it going to take all our plumbers, electricians, pipe fitters, but it is going to draw so many more into this area, and it's just going to boost.
Discover your new Acura. Visit us today and experience where performance meets
style. We're elevating the way you drive.
Economy, something fierce.
But first and next will be 3 readings before full city council, a public hearing for feedback from residents, and then a final vote and preliminary plan.
The administration is going to remain focused to make sure that we get this right.
What a great future for this area. I mean, it's amazing.
In Brook Park, Suzanne Stratford, Fox 8 News.
All right. Next. Sawyer Robertson becomes national star and a Utah Ute. Resurgence highlighted Big 12 hot takes headed into 2025 college football season. It might be July, but it's never too early. But it is never too early to preview the 2025 college football season. The Big 12 Conference was one of the more fun leagues this past season, having such a high level of parity. There are several teams that could win the conference this fall, which makes things fun, but also extremely chaotic. With so much volatility, there's a good chance there are several players and teams that surprise in 2025. Here are some hot takes for the Big 12 Conference headed into the season. Buckle up, folks. It's going to be quite a ride. Sawyer Robertson becomes a national elite. Jordan Tyson, Jordyn Tyson, eclipses 1,500 yards. The Utah Utes win the conference. And Bearcats, your Cincinnati Bearcats bounce back. So, I'm actually excited about that. Next. Okay, that's a video, so we'll skip that. Chargers of Marion Hampton. Najee Harrison disrespected and new running back RB rankings. The Los Angeles Chargers running backs aren't making many best of lists right now. The one exception, perhaps, is any list that must look at hyped rookies as Chargers' first-round pick. Marion Hampton carries plenty of weight in that area. But on the national scale and across the NFL, Jim Harbaugh's running back room isn't making many waves yet. The latest example comes from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, whose annual poll of the NFL personnel voting on the best running backs in the league omitted by Hampton and reliable veteran Najee Harrison completely. It's a little wild considering the top 10 list of honorable mentions and a section outlining other players who received vote numbers over 20. While Hampton is a rookie and some might be down on his possible production in year one. As a part of a rotation, Harris is a proven commodity. Commodity. I don't know how to say that. Sorry, folks. But anyways, at least. But then it says, if nothing else, he's rushed for 1,000 plus yards in each of his first 4 seasons, albeit on a 3.9 average with 28 scores, playing is not so great Pittsburgh offenses is a point in his favor, not against. Alice, at least for now, Harris and Hampton will have to sit on the sidelines when it comes to these sorts of lists. For Harris, 2025 is a chance to prove he fits the Harbaugh style and is more than what he showed in Pittsburgh. For Hampton, it's a chance to match or exceed the first round hype, never mind the generally accepted expectation that he'll blow past Harrison in a hurry. Next, Carson Beck earned surprisingly ranking among top quarterbacks in 2025. As we inch closer to talking season at conference media days, the official start of the new college football season, lots of lists are being published ranking teams and players by position. USA Today has put out its ranking of the top 25 quarterbacks in college football for 2025. Earning a top 10 ranking, surprisingly, is quarterback Carson Beck of Miami. The former Georgia Signal caller transferred, and during the December portal window after ending his career with the Bulldogs by dragging his throwing arm with a bum elbow to the Georgia medical tent after being injured in the SEC championship game against Texas. Hurricanes head coach Mario Cristobal later dangled a suitcase of full of Benjamins in front of Beck and convinced him to come to South Florida. But Beck's off-season and spring practice were brutal. First, Beck's cars were stolen. Then he broke up with his girlfriend. Finally, Beck had to stand on the sidelines at spring practice. That's rough. That's really rough. Anyways, unable to toss a football, but he is cleared to play and is back throwing the pigskin around the yard. The Hurricane fans are counting their lucky dollar signs. A successful season for Miami hinges on Beck's throwing elbow. Beck is coming off a 2024 season that saw him throw for over 3,400 yards and 28 touchdowns. He also threw 12 picks. Beck will have to secure the football better than that. It has been mentioned by those in the media that for Miami to win the ACC and earn a berth in the college football playoff, Beck must return to his 2023 form in that season. Beck accounted for over 4,000 total yards and 28 scores, but more importantly, he threw only 6 interceptions, or INTs for short, and 417 pass attempts. The Hurricanes will be talented offensively. Cristobal restocked his pass defense, a liability last season with talented transfers. Beck will need to prove to the fans and the college football world that he is one of the top quarterbacks in the country, worthy of a number 9 ranking. How well he will have an opportunity to do just that by defeating the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, who will invade South Beach as a preseason top 3 squad on August 31st. Next. NFL secondary rankings prove how Chiefs defense will be elite once again in 2025. Chiefs secondary ranked second by PFF ahead of 2025 season. Actually, we won't read that because we've done a lot of Kansas City, I think. And we've done a lot of Rams too. So we're trying to get different teams, guys. Anyways, active leaders in passing yards among NFL quarterbacks entering 2025. Aaron Rodgers, number 1, 62,952. Number 2, Matthew Stafford, 59,809. Number 3, Russell Wilson, 46,135. Number 4, Joe Flacco, 45,697. Number 5, Kirk Cousins, 42,979. Aaron Dalton, number 6, 39,500. And number 7, Jared Goff, 35,058. Next. Oh, it's got a video. We'll come back to that. Derek Carr's favorite moment as a Raider. One of the best moments in Las Vegas for the Raiders since moving to the desert was against their AFC West division rival, the Los Angeles Chargers. The Raiders were playing the Chargers in the last week of the regular season in the 2021 season. It was a win or go home for both teams, and the Raiders came out on top in overtime. Former Oakland and Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Derek Carr called it a career and retired this offseason. Carr is one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the Raiders franchise history. He is one of the best to ever suit up for the silver and black as well. Carr was a staple for the Raiders for so many years, and it was fun to watch him play, especially for Raider Nation. Carr led the Raiders to the playoffs twice, in 2016 and 2021. Unfortunately, in 2016, Carr got injured towards the end of the season and could not play in the playoffs game. Many see that 2016 season as a season where the Raiders could have made a deep playoff run, but the Carr injury put that to rest. In 2021, Carr led the Raiders to an incredible late season run to get into the playoffs. Next. Oh, there's a video. How long's the... Next. Okay, next. Alright. Steelers insider Pittsburgh wouldn't get first round pick for TJ Watt. The Pittsburgh Steelers have yet to come to an agreement with star edge rusher TJ Watt on a long-term extension. The former Defensive Player of the Year is entering the final year of his current deal. This has led to much speculation that Pittsburgh could trade Watt. And while very few people believe that would actually happen, the speculation has raged on through the dog days of the offseason. If Watt were to get traded through, though, it assumed by many that the Steelers could recoup a first-round pick for the future Hall of Famer. However, this may not be the case. Appearing on 93.7, The Fan in Pittsburgh, Nick Farabaugh of Penn Live believes the Steelers wouldn't receive a first-round pick in return for Watt. Should they trade him? There are not a lot of people saying first-round pick, Farabaugh said. Farabaugh noted that he thinks the comprehension in a hypothetical Watt trade would be closer to a second-round pick and a fifth-round pick, but also notes the Steelers haven't discussed trading Watt. While some fans would find their lack of a first-round pick outrageous, Watt is 30, coming off one of the lower production seasons of his career, and will garner a long-term extension that will but certainly cost $40 million per year. There aren't too many teams that would line up to make that deal if it also involved giving up a first-round pick. Next. That one's a video. How long is it? Recent trends in NFL Offensive Player of the Year award. I don't know about that one. We'll save that to the end. Next. Giants Deonte Banks receives crucial advice from own defensive backs trainer. The New York Giants are expecting to see major strides from their secondary in 2025 after investing significantly in the unit in this offseason. The hope is for third-year cornerback Deonte Banks to take a step forward this season. The 2023 first-round pick flashed his potential as a rookie, but struggled immensely in the second season of his career. Brian Walker of D-Backs Academy recently shared the advice he would give to Deonte Banks during an appearance on the Fireside Giants podcast presents by Empire Sports Media and hosted by me, Anthony Rivardo. Walker has trained my NFL athletes such as former Giants Xavier McKinney, who was the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year last season. With the Green Bay Packers, Walker is currently training with New York Jets Andre Cisco. Giants CB Deonte Banks receives advice from DB's trainer Brian Walker. I recently interviewed Brian Walker on Fireside Giants to get his analysis on the Giants' new look secondary. Walker gave his thoughts on Banks and offered his advice to the young cornerback. I think even as a rookie, I saw a few setbacks where I was like, okay, because a lot of times, and even in my situation, when I played in college, all I knew was man coverage. I did not know how to play off. And then when I played at Washington State in the Pac-12, where they slinging it, passing the ball a lot, you have to play off at times. So I think of him because he's so aggressive as a man corner. I think he struggled with a lot of consistency and effort in certain things. We're in the zone. That doesn't mean we just get comfortable. That's still a technique. Okay, this is long, so we'll next. First real glimpse of Buffalo Bills' heated roof is spectacular for $2.1 billion stadium. It's the ultimate battle of Mother Nature versus human ingenuity. For the new $2.1 billion Buffalo Bills Stadium. Unlike many extreme cold climate NFL cities like the Minnesota Vikings that have continued to have a dome for their new stadium, the Bills have bucked the trend and will still have the signature heavy snow to be a part of the action on the field of ringing MVP Josh Allen and his teammates as they look to as they look to claim their first ever Super Bowl for a desperate fan base. The state-of-the-art digs by the design company Purpulous describes it as the world's largest snow melt system. Whether it actually works or not, it does look awesome in this fantastic drone footage. Bills executives even seem a bit too cocky. Frank Cravata, senior vice president of design leading the new build internally, boldly claims it will absolutely melt a blizzard of up to 7 feet. As we know, Bill's Mafia will show up in droves no matter the conditions, which makes them one of the best fan bases in the entire league. One thing is for certain, no matter how amazing and spectacular the heated roof is, they only want one thing, a frigid Super Bowl. They'll take a collapsing ice and snow roof for the Lombardi Trophy. Next, Dolphins beat writer shares how Miami won't miss Jalen Ramsey and his issues. We have heard so much this offseason. Didn't we read this before? Yes, we did. Okay, next. Next. Okay, here we go. New York Giants Evan Neal named a player contract worth watching in 2025. The New York Giants may soon hold on a second, guys. Okay. That's weird. Anyways, let's restart all over again. The New York Giants may soon be at a crossroads with embattled offensive lineman and Evan Neal, the former first-round pick at one of general manager Joe Schoen's first draft selection, is entering the final year of his rookie contract after the teams declined his fifth-year option for the 2026 campaign. With these seasons of work that have featured injuries and inconsistent play at the right tackle position, the Giants are finally ready to see what Neal can do on the inside. But as training camp quickly approaches, plenty of eyes will be on Neal's development and the contract implications that come with it, says the Athletic's Charlotte Carroll. The Giants declined to pick up Neal's fifth-year option this spring, setting up the former number 7th pick for a crucial 2025 season, especially as he transitions from right tackle to guard after a disappointing start to his Giants tenure due to injuries and poor play. Neal earned plenty of starting reps this spring as the Giants managed their starters' workloads. Now Neal's most likely path to a starting spot would be beating out the 35-year-old Greg Van Roten for the role of right guard. How the position switch goes with determine Neal's future in New York. With veteran Jermaine Alumdumner locked into the right tackle spot for another season, the final year of his contract also. The Giants have some major question marks at the right guard spot. The main competition for Neal will come from another veteran and Greg Van Roten, who was re-signed during free agency this offseason. The Giants also use a 5th-round pick on Purdue's Marcus Embo, who was largely viewed as a value selection following the draft. Neal is not only fighting for a role with Brian Daboll's offense, but he's also fighting to keep his career alive in hopes of having any chance of landing a new contract following the 2025 season. Next. One thought of every New York Giants defensive player ahead of training camp. Defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence II, Rakeem Nunez, Nunez, Roaches, Roches, Chauncey Golston, Chauncey, Darius Alexander, Elijah Chapman, DJ Davison, Corey Durden, Elijah Garcia, Jeremiah Ledbetter, Jordan Riley, Roy Robertson Harris. Inside linebackers, Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden, Darius Musarzua, Deontay Johnson, Chris Board, Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, Ty Summers. Outside linebackers, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeaux, Abdul Carter, Victor Demuchike, Tommen Fox, Trace Ford. Next, cornerbacks, Paulson Adrebo, Deontay Banks, Drew Phillips, Corey Black, Cordale Flott, Art Green, Trey Hawkins 3, O'Donnell Fortune, Nick Jones, TJ Moore, D. Williams. Safeties, Tyler Nubin, Dane Belton, Javon Holland, Anthony Johnson Jr., Raheem Lane, Makari Page. Specialists, Graham Gano, Jude McAtamine, Jamie Gillen, and Casey Critter. Next, Chicago Bears facing tricky contract decision with unpredictable star. The Chicago Bears have been very busy addressing their budget needs this offseason, mostly to make life easier for quarterback Caleb Williams. The Bears' additions have been largely praised in NFL circles, and some feel that Chicago has enjoyed the best offseason in the league. However, the Bears are still facing some difficult decisions, and one of them comes in the form of a potential contract extension with safety Jaquan Brisker. When healthy, Brisker is one of the better safeties in football, but that's just the problem. He has been unable to stay on the field specifically because of concussions. The 26-year-old has suffered 3 of them since entering the NFL in 2022, which certainly puts his future in jeopardy. Brisker became eligible for an extension this offseason, but Kevin Fishbain of The Athletic feels that the Bears must tread carefully with the former second-round pick. Brisker is the Bears' only surefire starter who is under 30 and in a contract year, Fishbain wrote. Concussions have been a serious issue. The latest one, which occurred in Week 5 last season, kept Brisker out for the rest of the year. He hasn't been shy about his motivation. He's gifted athletically and a vocal leader, a trait that was sorely missed last season. But concussions are unpredictable, putting risk on any potential extensions. The Penn State product played in just 5 games last season, logging 40 tackles and an interception during that stretch. He ranked up 105 tackles, a pick, a couple of forced fumbles, and 9 passes defended the year prior. Brisker is a critical part of Chicago's defense, but he also plays a position that isn't typically prioritized in the modern NFL. Couple that with Brisker checkered medical history, and you can understand why the Bears may choose to go in a different direction. Next, Florida State Seminoles football loses former commit to Coach Prime's program. Florida State lost a commitment from 3-star offensive tackle Xavier Payne about 2 weeks ago. Payne originally pledged to the Seminoles in December of 2024, but reopened his recruitment shortly after an official visit to Tallahassee. The decision came in the wake of Syracuse and Colorado, turning up the heat on the rising senior. that led Florida State and Payne to part ways, putting the 6'7" offensive lineman back on the open market. It didn't take long for Payne to find a new program to call home. On Monday, Payne announced he was teaming up with Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. He was in Boulder for a visit last month after picking up an offer from Colorado in May. Since Payne moved on, Florida State has yet to add an offensive tackle to its recruiting class. The position is one of the few weak spots in Tribe 26. Next, best case scenarios for MSU's offense. That's a video. Four Big Ten teams deemed as most likely to make the college football playoff for the first time in 2025. The Wisconsin Badgers are still in search of their first college football playoff appearance since its inception back in 2014. Despite having several highly productive seasons since then, Wisconsin had its best shot back in 2017 when starting the season 12-0, only to fall in the Big Ten championship to Ohio State, losing its shot at the college football playoff. Back in 2016, Wisconsin suffered 3 losses, Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State, but still finished number 8 in the final college football playoff poll. In 2019, the Badger had a great shot but had a killer 24-23 loss to an unranked Illinois squad. Now looking 6 years in the future, the Badgers are still searching for that first college football playoff appearance. And it doesn't seem to be coming in 2025 either, as the team goes through a transition period. Fox Sports' Joel Klatt listed out his 10 most likely teams to reach the college football playoff for the first team in 2025. Understandably, Wisconsin didn't make that list, but 3 fellow Big Ten teams did. Illinois, Iowa, and Nebraska. Illinois topped the list for Klatt, which makes sense given that they went 10-3 last year and returned a number of key players. Brett Bielema has built this team into what he wants. Physical, though, Klatt said they win against South Carolina in the bowl game. They show the level that they can get to. And that team that won that day is essentially all back. 16 starters are back, 9 on offense, 7 on defense, Luke Altmaier, is back for his 3rd season. I think they've hit the lottery in the Big Ten. Behind Ole Miss number 2, South Carolina number 3, and Miami number 4 was Iowa at number 5 after an 8-5 season. In 2024. However, they did go 1-3 in close games and now have an upgrade at quarterback on paper with South Dakota State's Mark Granowski. They have proven under Kirk Ferentz that they can win close games, they can have great seasons, they can play above their head. They bring in the best quarterback from FCS, Mark Granowski from South Dakota State. Klatt said, "He is one hell of a player. He won 2 national championships, was the Walter Payton winner 2 years ago. He has been a 4-year starter who started 55 games in his career." Next, USC came in just behind Missouri at number 7, coming off a 7-6 season in its first year with the Big Ten. They started last season with a win over LSU, and I thought that was going to propel them to a potential playoff season last year. Klatt said about the Trojans in Lincoln Riley's first year, they were a game away from going to the playoffs. I personally believe that Riley has maybe come under some criticism that might not be fair, but I could be wrong. He's going to have to win this year. You can't go 7-5 again. Lastly, Nebraska rounded out the list at number 10, following Kansas State, number 8, and Florida, number 9. I think that they can probably take a little bit of a jump, Klatt said about his Cornhuskers. If you look at their year last year, it was progress. Year 2 with Matt Rule was almost really good, except for those 1-score games, which I know you could be saying forever for Nebraska. But they snapped that 7-year streak without a bowl. That's progress. The Badgers seem like they're still a ways away from competing for a national championship, and they'll have to go through some tough college football playoff like competition in 2025. Making the playoff was the goal when Luke Fickell was hired as the head coach. Now it's unclear where exactly that first playoff berth will come. Next. Okay, 12 hours ago, former Rams wide receiver Sean McVay with Mike Tomlin. Next. Former Tennessee Vols standout named by scouts and coaches as one of the top 10 players in the NFL at his position. A former Tennessee Vols standout was named this week as one of the top 10 running backs in the NFL. ESPN spoke to various scouts, coaches, and executives to determine the top 10 current running backs in the NFL. Former Vols running back Alvin Kamara, who is entering his 9th season in the NFL, all with the New Orleans Saints, came in at number 10 on ESPN's list. Kamara was unranked in ESPN's list a year ago. From ESPN, a premier back in our rankings for years, Kamara fell into honorable mention last year after a few down seasons. Though some evaluators see slight decline, Kamara fought his way back to the top 10 thanks to 1,503 scrimmage yards last year. Kamara appeared on nearly 60% of the voting ballots, but none in the top 6. Some of the elite traits are still there. An NFL offensive coach said he didn't have much of an offensive line or supporting cast last year, but he can still take a screen for big yardage and still have great contact balance. Kamara has eclipsed 600 rushing yards and 400 receiving yards in all 8 seasons of his career. That's already tied for the most such seasons in NFL history, alongside Falk. Despite missing the final 3 games of last season, Kamara still accounted for 26% of New Orleans scrimmage yards in 2024, the 7th highest mark in the NFL. Kamara, who played at Tennessee for 2015 to 2016, will turn 30 later this month, so he's certainly in the twilight of his career. For the former Vol, however, showed last season that he's still an elite NFL player by setting a career high with 950 rushing yards. Additionally, Kamara's 1,493 combined rushing and receiving yards last season were his most since 2020. Kamara has easily been one of Tennessee's most productive NFL players this century, and he's looking to show in 2025 that he still has plenty left in the tank. Next, there's a video, but it's long, so. Commanders face big decision that could shape training camp. Next. Panthers-Rams trade proposal helps shore up Carolina's weak spot. Next. Predicting 6 NFL trade dates that will be moved before the 2025 season and where they'll land. Hold on, guys. Okay, I don't think we did this. Number 5, T.E. Darnell Washington, Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 4, Tavon the Box, New York Giants, edge. Predicted trade destination, Carolina Panthers. Number 3, quarterback Will Levis, Tennessee Titans. Quarterback. Predicted trade destination, Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 2, wide receiver Romeo Doubs, Green Bay Packers. Predicted trade destination, Pittsburgh Steelers. Edge rusher, trade Hendricks, Cincinnati Bengals. Trade destination, Green Bay Packers. Packers? Wow. Huh. Next. It took 1 year for Cowboys' third round pick to become franchise cornerstone. The retirement of Zach Martin officially ushered in a new era of the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. If you can believe it, right tackle Terrence Steele, who turned 28 last month, is now the elder statesman of the group. With Tyler Smith establishing himself as one of the best guards of the NFL, and 25 first-round pick Tyler Booker ready to hit the ground running in year 1. The Cowboys' offensive line is in good hands moving forward. However, it was Cooper Beebe, not Smith, who was tabbed Dallas' most promising building block entering 2025 by Bleacher Report. Beebe can improve his pass blocking, but he has sound technique and fared well as a run blocker, which is important to help the Cowboys balance their offensive attack and take some pressure off quarterback Dak Prescott, Mo Morton wrote. Next, we got a ton to talk about and trying to get all this done. Commanders take firm stance amid recent name change comments. For years, Washington Commanders fans have speculated about another name change. A big portion of the fan base never fully embraced the new name, and they're adamant about being the Washington Redskins. Recently, even President Donald... Okay, we'll skip that, because it gets political. I just noticed that. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll skip that. It gets too political. I just realized that. Alright, anyways, moving on. Boise State, top ranked group of 5 team in preseason poll. Here is Steele's full preseason top 25. Number 25, Texas Tech. Number 24, Auburn. Number 23, SMU. Number 22, Ole Miss. Number 21, USC. Number 20, Tennessee. Number 19, Utah. Number 18, Baylor. Number 17, Illinois. Number 16, Indiana. Number 15, Arizona State. Number 14, Miami. Number 13, Oregon. Number 12, Michigan. Number 11, LSU. Number 10, Florida. Number 9, Texas A&M. Number 8, Oklahoma. Number 7, Georgia. Number 6, Clemson. Ooh. Number 5, Ohio State. Number 4, Alabama. Number 3, Texas. Number 2, Notre Dame. And your number 1, Penn State. Boise's football schedule. August 28th at South Florida. 3:30 p.m. on ESPN. September 5th, Eastern Washington at 7 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, FS1. September 13 by September 20th at Air Force, 5 o'clock p.m. on CBS Sports Network. September 27th, Appalachian State, TBA Fox Networks, which means to be announced. October 4th, at Notre Dame, 1:30 p.m. on NBC. October 11th, New Mexico, to be announced, Fox Networks. October 18th, UNLV, time to be announced, Fox Networks. October 24th, at Nevada, 8 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. November 1st, Fresno State, to be announced, Fox Network. November 8th, another bye. November 15th, at San Diego State at 8:30 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. November 22nd, Colorado State, time to be announced, Fox Networks. November 28th, at Utah State, 2 p.m. on CBS. Next, and I see we've got people watching. If you are watching, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified, please. That is very much appreciated. Thank you. Let's see here. Next. Okay, that's a video. Okay, that we have to read, but I'm not doing it, so. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Next, Puka Nacua future as a Los Angeles Ram. Wide receiver 1, safe or slipping? While much of the national spotlight has focused on Los Angeles Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford's future this offseason, arguably the biggest story for the team headed into 2025 is the franchise-altering change in the wide receiver room. Cooper Kupp made his emotional exit only to be replaced by Devontae Adams, of course. The constant in the room from 2024 to 2025 will be Puka Nacua, who is no secret at this point. However, as an incumbent receiver, will Nacua be in the driver's seat to put the offense on his back? Or was the former Green Bay Packers star added to keep Nacua in the shadow of a veteran? Will Nacua accept it if it is the latter? Comment down below. Next, we'll go to comments. Do 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 do. Colts stalwart named the most underrated player in the NFL. The Indianapolis Colts may have had its issues lately, and especially last season, but there's also no denying there are some true superstars on the roster. One in particular could be denied by absolutely no one. DeForest Buckner. He is one of the best defensive tackles in the league and is known not only for his excellent performance on the field, but for his leadership off the field too. He was ranked by Pro Football Focus as 7th among all defensive tackles in pass rush win rate, 12th in pass rush productivity, and 9th in run stop rate. He was also named as the Colts Edge Bot Courage Award winner last season for his performance on and off the field. And while he gets plenty of accolades, he arguably deserves more. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler ranked the top 10 defensive tackles in the league based on interviews with league's executives, coaches, and scouts. Buckner came in at number 8, with one executive calling him the most underrated player in the league. Here is what Fowler had to report about Buckner. The tallest player on this list, 6'7", continues to play big, averaging 8.4 sacks per season since 2018. The most underrated defensive player in the league, a high-ranking AFC personnel executive said. Despite missing 5 games last season, Buckner continues to disrupt opposing offensive lines. His 16.4 pass rush win rate ranked second among the top 10, trailing Jones. As multiple voters point out, Buckner isn't in Tier 1 but will always hang around in the top 10 because of his consistency. His game will age well because of his length, technique, and high motor. An NFL personnel evaluator said Jeremy Fowler. As Fowler pointed out, Buckner was injured for part of the season. And he also was dealing with a subpar Colts defense as well. Buckner, along with Grover Stewart, were epic members of the defensive line. And while Kwity Paye and Laiatu Latu both show promise, they weren't anywhere near Buckner's level. The defensive line was overall middling last season. But the hope is that the group will take a step forward in 2025 under Lou Anarumo's leadership. Next. Okay, there's my comments. Okay. Ayush Kumar. Welcome to the Ramley. Mohanty. Don't forget to, if you're watching right now, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified, please. Thank you so much. Next. Joe Burrow on burglary at his home. The kind of year it was. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. Oh, there's a video. We'll get back to that. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow is one of the subjects of the newly released season of Quarterback on Netflix. And part of his appearance on the show chronicles his reaction to the burglary at his home that occurred while he was leading the team to win over the Cowboys in December. Burrow had $300,000 of jewelry and other items stolen from his home, and found out what happened in the locker room after a 27-20 Monday night win that ended a 3-game losing streak. Among Burrow's reaction was that it fit with what was a frustrating year on the field for the Bengals. Bleep course. This happened to me right now. He dropped the F-bomb. Anyways, of course this happened to me right now. Burrow said when you're on cloud 9, something's gotta bring you right back down. It just felt like the kind of year that it was. Burrow had been making plans to spend $3 million to purchase a replica of the Batmobile before the burglary, but said he called that off in the wake of the crime because he just had other things I wanted to deal with at that point. I just get very uncomfortable with when my life is very public, Burrow said. That comes with the job. But there's certain parts of your life that are yours. Your house is one of those. When that gets violated, people find out where you live. All these different things. 4 people were later arrested for the burglary. Wow. That's terrible. We still got a ton to talk about, guys. We'll try to get quickly. Tennessee Titans offensive core ranked dead last in the NFL. Next. Kansas football listed twice in worst head coaching hires since 2000. Next. Well, we read this. Next. Falcons obviously had NFL's top candidate for Offensive Player of the Year. Bijan Robertson will be the NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2025. Next. Christian McCaffrey ranks number 8 among RB's fuels 49ers playoff hopes. Next. Steelers' departure catches major stray during off-season breakdown. Najee Harris' unfortunate off-season continues. Steelers made the right decision getting younger at running back. Next. Tutu Atwell is the last player standing from Rams 2021 draft class. Next. Rams responsible for one top moment of last 25 years. Which is Super Bowl XXXIV. Next. Chiefs Chris Jones hit with one-dimensional warning by coach. Chris Jones looks to evaluate Chiefs defense in 2025. Next. Chiefs mount against Chiefs Stadium construction. Next. Former Seahawks draft bust may not make it out for another training camp. Former Seahawks wide receiver Dee Eskridge may not make Dolphins roster. Next. The 49ers schedule may raise some concerns in 2025. And there's a video, so we'll wait with that. Why Chiefs don't participate in joint preseason practices. Next. Rams single game rushing records Most yards, touchdown carries, and more. Okay. Most rushing yards, 247. Willie Ellison, 1971 versus Packers. Most rushing touchdowns, number 4, Marshall Faulk, 2000 versus Vikings. Most rush attempts, 39, Jerome Bettis, 1993 versus the Bears. Most yards per attempt, minute, 10 carries, 14.7, Tom Colla, 1944 versus Packers. Most rushing first downs, 14, Marshall Faulk, 2002 versus Seahawks. Highest rush success rate, 90%, CJ Anderson, 2018 versus Cardinals. Next. 3 Los Angeles Chargers players who are being vastly overrated. Trey Harris, wide receiver. Khalil Mack, edge. And Mike Williams, wide receiver. Next. 2 sneaky Los Angeles Rams trade candidates entering 2025 training camp. T.E. Colby Parkinson is sneaking Rams trade candidate. Ram safety is still on the hot seat. Which there's a video. Why won't you stop? Thank you. Alright, next. Goff calls Rams immature for blindsiding him with trade. Next. Phil Steele predicts 136 team college football rankings in 2025. Okay, you ready, guys? Here's the list. 136, Kent State. 135, Missouri State. 134, Ball State. 133, UMass. 132, Tulsa. 131, Kennesaw State. Number 130, Delaware. 129, Akron. 128, UTEP. 127, Middle Tennessee. 126, New Mexico State. 125, Central Michigan. 124, Jacksonville State. 123, Sam Houston. 122, Utah State. 121, Eastern Michigan. 120, FIU. We're still not done yet. 119, Nevada. 118, New Mexico. 117, Western Michigan. 116, Temple. 115, Florida Atlantic. 114, Charlotte. 113, Marshall. 112, Western Kentucky. 111, UAB. 110, Bowling Green. 109, Georgia State. 108, Washington State. 107, Arkansas State. 106, Purdue. 105, Southern Miss. 104, UL Monroe. 103, Northern Illinois. 102, Rice. 101, Wyoming. 100, Louisiana State, or Tech, sorry. 99, Appalachian State. 98, San Diego State. 97, Fresno State. 96, Coastal Carolina. 95, Miami, Ohio. 94, Colorado State. 93, East Carolina. 92, Troy. 91, Wake Forest. 90, South Alabama. 89, Hawaii. 88, Stanford. 87, Buffalo. 86, Ohio. 85, Old Dominion. 84, Georgia Southern. 83, Air Force. 82, Louisiana. 81, Liberty. 80, Texas State. 79, UNLV. 78, Army. 77, San Joseph State. 76, Oregon State. 75, Oklahoma State. 74, Yukon. 73, Navy. 72, Maryland. 71, North Texas. 70, UCF. 69, Syracuse. 68, Toledo. 67, James Madison. 66, Cal. 65, Memphis. 64, West Virginia. 63, Northwestern. 62, Boston College. 61, Virginia. 60, UTSA. 59, USF. 58, Tulane. 57, North Carolina. 56, Arizona. 55, Mississippi State. 54, Michigan State. 53, Colorado. 52, UCLA. 51, North Carolina State. NC State. 50, Kentucky. 49, Kansas. 48, Duke. 47, Boise State. 47 46. 47 is Boise State. 46, Houston. 45, Minnesota. 44, Rutgers. 43, Missouri. 42, Cincinnati. 41, Virginia Tech. 40, BYU. 39, Washington, sorry. 38, Vanderbilt. 37, Georgia Tech. 36, Florida State. 35, Nebraska. 34, Pittsburgh. 33, Arkansas. 32, Wisconsin. 31, Iowa. 30, Kansas State, sorry. 29, Louisville. 28, Iowa State. 27, South Carolina. 26, TCU. 25, Texas Tech. 24, Auburn. 23, SMU. 22, Ole Miss. 21, USC. 20, Tennessee. 19, Utah. 18, Baylor. 17, Illinois. 16, Indiana. 15, Arizona State. 14, Miami. 13, Oregon. 12, Michigan. 11, LSU. 10, Florida. 9, Texas A&M. 8, Oklahoma. 7, Georgia. 6, Clemson. 5, Ohio State. 4, Alabama. 3, Texas. 2, Notre Dame. And your number 1, Penn State. Next. Oh, we're still not done yet, guys. We'll probably be on here till 12:45, 1 o'clock. So, 2 Rams were slam dunks on 25 under 25 team. Next, NFL analysts argue over Kansas City Chiefs' future. There's a lot of videos that we'll be showing, guys. A lot. Kansas lawmakers grant Chiefs extension for the stadium decision. There's another video. Okay. Video. Georgia High School. Okay, hold on. This is all our next topic. So we will be playing videos. We will be playing videos of all the topics that some of the topics that we talked about that are related. So let's see here. They're long. We'll start with this one. Alright, this one says recent trends in NFL Offensive Player of the Year award. Here we go. 5 minutes.
Over the last 6 years has been a non-quarterback award, which I'm totally fine with. It does lead to me usually at least once or twice a season asking, hey, any interest on this quarterback? I almost feel like Lamar not winning it last year maybe gives us an idea that this is really just going to be non-quarterback.
Do we ever have 2 quarterbacks? Like 1 MVP, 1 Offensive Player of the Year? Like, I would like to see, like, the last couple years of this award to see if that would even be possible. Is that just, like, predetermined?
In 2019, like, I think Lamar won not the official one.
Yeah.
But, like, I think maybe it was because he won MVP, like, he took both home. Well, that was the thing, Dolly. We used to have guys win both, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we would have had a situation where, like, Josh wins MVP, Lamar wins Offensive Player of the Year. Now, the last 6 years of this award, we've seen 3 wide receivers and 3 running backs. So let me just start with this, Donnie. Do you think that you would be more attracted to the running back position or the wide receiver position when evaluating this market?
The wide receiver position, because it's so hard for a running back. Even though you saw last year, like, Derrick Henry was sensational. Same thing with Saquon Barkley. Like, that's the anomaly, though. Like, we were supposed to be getting away from the running back position in the NFL. Now we have a resurgence. But understand this. Much easier for a wide receiver to make it through 17 weeks than a running back. And certainly a running back running at a high level. Like, we're supposed to believe, like, the 1,000-yard season is good. Well, obviously we know that with 17 games, that has to be elevated. When you're a running back run for, like, 1,400 yards, oh, my goodness. That's amazing. Like, guys are running for 2,000.
I can't lose again this year.
AI that with Copilot.
Which is absolutely incredible. But for me, it's always going to be a wide receiver. Why? It's a passing league. They're going to get more opportunities to make more big plays.
Yeah, I agree with Donnie. I think the only running back that I would buy into, obviously outside of Saquon, would be Derrick Henry at 14-1, just because of the 2,000-yard marker. If anybody could duplicate it, I do believe it's Derrick Henry in a run-based offense with Baltimore. But Donnie's right. Let's not forget, a couple of seasons ago when Tyreek Hill was on that type of marker, right? What do you have, 1,700 towards the end of the regular season? We were talking about him for Offensive Player of the Year, and then he got hurt, and then we threw the 2,000 yards out the window. There's the potential with some of these players. Players like Justin Jefferson, players like Jamar Chase. You look at C.D. Lamb now with Dak coming back for a full season. There is the potential and great value. I mean, when you look at just the numbers alone, 9-1 on Jamar Chase. He wins a Triple Crown. We know that Joe Burrow and that offense are going to
chuck it all over the yard. I mean, there's great value there. I'll just say this as it relates to Tyreek. If you do believe that Tyreek can have a bounce back type of season now and being 100% healthy, the 35 to 1 makes sense if you do believe that he's completely bought in this season. The problem is I'm not bought in to Miami as a whole.
I'll throw the shot out there. List of players last year, 170 or more targets. Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, that's the list. And Neighbors finished 5 targets away from Chase despite playing 2 less games. We expect improved quarterback play throughout the season. And the Offensive Player of the Year award race is not really about record. I know someone would say, well, no, that's why Saquon beat out Chase. Yes, but also Saquon ran for 2,000 yards. And I think that catches the eye actually a little bit more than a Triple Crown does necessarily catch an eye. People are going to remember the Saquon season last year significantly more than they're going to remember the Jamar Chase season. Malik Neighbors, I mean, with Russell Wilson last year, we saw he could still throw the deep ball. I think Malik Neighbors has sometimes we throw out odds where it's like, hey, this guy could just beat the number. Like, I think Malik Neighbors legitimately is already one of the 5 best receivers. I don't know, the LSU stuff's nuts. Like, I know we joke, the wide receiver stuff.
Yes.
Like, the fact that we had the Chase-Jefferson combination, and then right behind it is Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., both on the same team. I mean, it's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm buying, 35 to 1 for Malik Neighbors to have a dynamic year and potentially maybe 1,500, 1,700 yards, depending upon the type of success with Russell Wilson. It isn't out of the realm of possibility, especially when you have a coach with his back against the wall in Brian Dable that has to win football games, get the football and feed your best player. I think it's great value. I think Brian Thomas at 40 to 1. We know that Trevor Lawrence comes back. We know Liam Cohen in that offensive attack wants to have balance, but still chucks Baker Mayfield at 4,500 yards with his, calling the plays in Tampa. So you can't say he's not going to eat in Jacksonville. So not bad value across the board.
Do you know one player I'm probably going to downgrade just a little bit? He's in second place right now. It's Jamar Chase. Look at his division. Cleveland's going to have a really good defense. You see the Pittsburgh Steelers loading up at cornerback. Take a look at Jair Alexander now in an unbelievable cornerback field in Baltimore Ravens. Maybe it is a slight downgrade for the guy.
I would say Jefferson for me because of McCarthy.
All right, there's that video. Next. Okay, I'm not gonna show you guys that do that video. This one's Michigan State Spartans.
This latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter from Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aiden Champion. Gonna get back into some football recruiting talk because lately Michigan State kind of hit a bit of a rough patch. Obviously, they had a heck of a month of June, landing 17 commits in the month after having just 4 scholarship commits going into June. I have only landed 1 prospect from the class of 2026 so far this month, and that was Chris Addison, edge rusher. Another underrated prospect, but other than that, been kind of missing 2, not really an alarming amount. I mean, I say.
Alright, next. This one is Joe Burrow with the burglary.
Speaking of dysfunction, I read something yesterday about the ongoing impasse with the Bengals and pass rusher Shamar Stewart, the 17th overall pick in the 2025 draft. I believe, now I don't know because at any point this impasse could be ended. I believe, based upon what I know, that this isn't getting done until training camp opens, if then. And remember, the Bengals and Stewart are stuck on some very esoteric language in his contract as a first-round pick. First-round picks get fully guaranteed deals. There is language in these contracts that will void the guarantees if you commit a default. Guaranteed void. The language the Bengals had been using limits the default the year in which it happens. The guarantees void in the year when the player does the thing that triggers the default. They want to change that language now, as to Stewart, to wipe out all future guarantees. And yes, other teams use that language, but the Bengals haven't. And the Bengals are introducing it to the guy who was the 17th overall pick, when last year they used their prior language with the guy who was the 18th overall pick. I mean, one of the basic arguments is if you're going to roll out this new language, do it in a year when you're drafting lower than the guy who got it last year. If you're drafting lower, if the guy is slotted lower, it's easier to make the argument that we're making a unilateral change. Stewart was drafted higher than Amarius Mims, and they want to use more restrictive default language in the contract, and he said no. The point we made yesterday, this didn't go off the rails in the offseason program because of that default language. The real issue as to why Stewart wasn't on the field for the offseason program.
Bengals
the Bengals
participation agreement
the very short
kept
and sweet and simple
Shemar
document
Stewart out
says to
of
the player,
off-season
hey,
program.
in exchange for you showing up and practicing when you don't have a contract, when you're not employed by the team, we promise that if you get injured, we will pay you the same contract you would have gotten. It'll be as if the injury didn't happen. You'll still get the contract. And the closer the language is to that very basic quid pro quo, hey, don't worry. We know you don't have a contract. We know the contract gives you 4 years fully guaranteed. What we'll do is we'll promise with this piece of paper that if you show up in practice, you'll still get your contract. It'll be as if the injury never happened. I've seen the participation agreement that the
Next. Bold predictions for the 49ers in 2025.
Let's do some bold predictions for the upcoming season and get out of here. We'll go back and forth. Let's make some bold predictions for fun. And then here's part of the game. After each bold prediction, when you make one, I will give your boldness a 1 out of 10 rating, and then you give mine as well, like a dunk contest. I want to know how bold it was.
Okay. All right. Here's I think the pattern of the 49ers missing the playoffs and then making the NFC Championship game continues. I think they get there and lose.
It's the NFC Championship game. Ooh, I will give that an 8 on the bold scale. Why do you think they're going to make it there?
I think they have an easy schedule. And I think by the time they have youth, which makes me feel like they might be healthier than they have been in the past. But the most important thing for teams is to be healthy and hot at the right time at the end of the season. And I think there's a good chance that they can scrape through against this easy schedule, get to the playoffs, and possibly get hot at the right time. So, and that pattern has shown us that that's what they do.
I'm so lost.
Hey, I had that with Copilot.
I like that. All right, let me see if I can match that. Okay. All right, I got one. The 49ers leading rusher this upcoming season, will be Jordan James.
Yeah.
Jordan James.
You know, I don't know if that would surprise me necessarily. I give that a 7.8.
Ooh. All right. Fair enough. That's true. You're right. I could do better. Yeah.
Let me. Ben Bartch is a better left guard.
Next. Will Los Angeles Rams Jared Verse be a top 10 edge in 2025?
Welcome back to Rams on SI. I'm your host, Claudette Montana, joined by our NFL senior writer, Hondo Carpenter. We are talking all things Jared Verse today, linebacker for the Rams. Because Hondo, he's coming off a good rookie year. He was named AP Defensive Rookie of the Year. So as we look ahead into year 2, do you think he has the potential to be a top 10 linebacker in the NFL next season?
First of all, if that's a good year, I would hate to see your standards for a great one, Claudette. I got to tell you, the guy had a fantastic rookie year, and I'm going to say something a little unconventional, because I think you asked a great question. I think he already is. I think he's already in that mix. When you take into account his age, I saw some lists where people had him at 12 or 11. But you look at some of those guys on that list who are really long in the tooth. Let me ask you this question.
Hold on a second, guys. There's a commercial. All right, here we go.
Would you rather have Myles Garrett today or Verse? Well, of course you're going to want Verse. He's only 1 year in.
Right.
There are several guys that I think you'd much rather have Verse over than people that are allegedly ahead of him. He's 1 year in with a great work ethic, and everybody loves the kid. He's great in the locker room. He's great outside the facility. He's great in public. He is the real deal. Terrific kid. If you don't like Jared Verse, the problem's you, not him. And man, his sky's the limit with him, isn't it?
Absolutely, and obviously coming off, as we mentioned, a really good rookie year. So excited to see what he does in year 2. And look, the season's right around the corner, so it's going to be here before we know it. All right, I want to remind everyone that they can go to si.com/NFL/Rams for all of your Los Angeles Rams coverage, maybe even a little bit more on Jared Verse as well. Hondo, thanks so much.
Thank you, Claudette.
Next. Well, we won't do this one.
What else?
All right, here's
Public safety.
KC Streetcar Plaza. Sports stadiums could make high headlines in Kansas City this year. That's the video.
Safety is just one area of focus for Kansas City here in the new year. KSHB 41's Charlie Keegan covers local government, and he shows us what else might get the attention of your elected leaders this year.
Expansion of the Kansas City streetcar will certainly get headlines in 2025, but we wanted to see what else will be driving Kansas City this year.
Oh, it was fun, and his first experience.
The next time Janice Creason's great-grandson rides the streetcar, he might be able to take it all the way to the plaza. A 3.5-mile extension should open this year.
I don't go to the River Market and back to like downtown very much.
But now if you have a stop not too far from work.
Now Plaza, yeah, it'll be great.
New ownership here on the plaza brings new expectations for big changes to one of the city's main entertainment districts.
I heard they're gonna like really do a lot of revamps.
In 2025, we might get a clearer picture on stadium plans for the Royals and Chiefs. Washington Square Park popped up as an option for the Royals, but the mayor doesn't put too much stock in renderings like this one.
What tends to make the news is new random drawings in a different place every few hours, it feels like.
Lucas says the city is talking with both teams about their futures and what a responsible amount of public investment looks like.
One of the challenges of this discussion has always been that people are treating it like the sky is falling.
I hope they keep them over not downtown. I don't want them to move it.
Something final, like a final decision would be nice.
I don't want the Chiefs to move, and I really hope the Royals stay in Kansas City.
Janice Creason wants her relatives to stay in Kansas City too, which means the city has to resurface streets, invest in affordable housing, and keep the public safe on top of all these headlines. Charlie Keegan, KSHB 41 News.
All right, next. why future quarterbacks are obsessed with Patrick Mahomes' playing style.
Do you want it? It's a mentality when you step on that field. Everything you got, every single play, and we find a way to get a win. Playmakers on three, 1, 2, 3.
Patrick Mahomes has completely redefined what it means to be a quarterback. His arm strength, creativity, and ability to perform under pressure have set a new standard in the NFL. But his impact goes beyond his personal success. He's inspiring the next generation of quarterbacks to rethink the way they play the game. In today's video, we're diving into the Patrick Mahomes effect, how his unique playing style, leadership, and resilience are shaping the future of quarterback play. But before we dive in, make sure to like and follow for more. Patrick Mahomes has shattered the traditional quarterback mold. From no-look passes to off-platform throws, his creativity has taken the NFL by storm.
I'm so lost.
Hold on, it's a commercial. Alright, it's
Plays
back.
outside the pocket, improvise, and throw from different angles has set him apart from other quarterbacks. Coaches now emphasize mobility, improvisation, and quick decision-making. The focus is shifting from just pocket passing to extending plays and using athleticism to create opportunities, skills Mahomes has perfected. It's not just Mahomes' physical talent that's inspiring the next generation. It's his leadership and mental toughness. Whether it's rallying his team late in a game or handling the pressure of a Super Bowl, Mahomes stays calm and leads his team to victory. Young quarterbacks are learning that success isn't just about arm strength. It's about confidence, resilience, and elevating the team in crucial moments. Mahomes shows them that being a leader is just as important as making the perfect throw. Mahomes' impact is not just on the NFL, it's reshaping how young quarterbacks train. High school and college quarterbacks are studying Mahomes' highlights, trying to replicate his style. Training programs now focus on mobility, improvisation, and making unconventional throws. More emphasis is being placed on adapting under pressure and using athleticism to extend plays. Mahomes has shown that development and hard work are the keys to success, inspiring young quarterbacks to push past traditional limits. Mahomes' legacy is more than just his Super Bowl victories. It's about shaping the future of quarterback play. From his creativity to his resilience, Mahomes has set a new standard for what it takes to be a top quarterback. As young quarterbacks
30
continue to model
seconds.
their game after him, Mahomes' influence will extend far beyond his own career. He's not just changing how we view the position, he's inspiring a new generation to think outside the box, take risks, and lead with confidence. The Patrick Mahomes effect is undeniable. His unique style, leadership, and mental toughness are inspiring the next wave of quarterbacks to be creative, resilient, and fearless on the field. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Mahomes' influence, be sure to like and follow for more content like this. Let us know in the comments how you think Mahomes.
Alright, next. So, now we travel down to Ohio. Lawsuit calls plan to use unclaimed funds on stadiums for Bengals, Browns, and more unconstitutional. There's a video. And I'm gonna play the whole thing. Come on, let me skip, please. You're not gonna let me? Nope. I'm not. That's alright, we'll wait. We still got a little bit more to talk about, guys, and that's it.
Nobody designs, manufactures, or installs windows like Gilkey. We invite you to be part of the Gilkey family.
We have some breaking news right now. The state has met its constitutional deadline of passing a new 2-year budget.
Governor DeWine signing the $60 billion spending plan just before the midnight deadline, and there were
dozens of vetoes. News 5's John Kosick joins us live this morning to break down what's in and what's out. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Mike and Tiffany. You know, what's in there of local interest deals with the future of this place, Cleveland Brown Stadium. There's $600 million in there for a new Brown Stadium in Brook Park. This is something that Governor DeWine supported, but just not in the way he supported it. Remember, originally he wanted to pay for that by doubling the tax on sports betting. That was something the legislature killed when they got a hold of it. Instead, they wanted to use $1.7 billion of the state's nearly $5 billion pool of unclaimed funds for this and other stadium projects by giving people a decade to claim their missing money, where previously there was no time limit. Now, there was pressure on DeWine to veto that by many, including Attorney General Dave Yost. He didn't. He also didn't veto the change to the Modell law that allows teams to leave a city at the end of their publicly funded stadium lease, provided they stay in the state. Now, those two items essentially guarantee the Browns' move to Brook Park. Another item that survived the governor's possible veto was the GOP's proposed flat income tax of 2.75%, meaning those earning over $100,000 a year will no longer have to pay 3.5%. DeWine had hinted that was something that he wasn't entirely in agreement with.
Not one time did a company say, I can't come to Ohio because your income tax is too high. We'd have to look at what the consequences are and what impact that might have on our ability to fund education.
And that was something that the governor talked about further last night, and he will go into further detail a little bit later today when he holds a news conference at 10 o'clock to talk about this two-year spending plan.
Well, John, we also want to talk to you about libraries. The governor also issued the largest number of vetoes since becoming governor in 2019, and one of those vetoes would have forced changes at Ohio libraries related to the display of certain materials. This is something you touched on right here on GMC yesterday.
Yeah, that is gone. It's out of the budget. One of the 67 line item vetoes that the governor issued last night. We talked about it yesterday, as you mentioned. There was a full court press on Governor DeWine to remove from the budget this particular piece of legislation that would require public libraries to segregate materials related to sexual orientation or gender identity, and to guarantee that they were not visible to anyone under the age of 18, language the Ohio Library Council had called dangerously vague and ultimately unworkable, something that would have taken years pretty much to put into effect and millions of dollars to enforce. Governor DeWine agreeing, vetoing that last night. Again, he will get into more detail on that particular item, and the other 66 items he vetoed a little bit later this morning. Mike and Tiffany?
Yeah, we'll be watching that one closely. Thanks, John.
Some of the other things the governor vetoed include rejecting the lawmakers' plan to limit how much school districts could carry over in revenue to 40%. He also vetoed changes to how the mill floor is calculated and a requirement that candidates for local school board races be identified with partisan labels on the ballot. The governor also axed educational savings accounts for students who attend non-chartered religious schools. And he eliminated a requirement that Ohio lawmakers decide if public universities are entitled to $75 million based on their compliance with Senate Bill 1. It's a higher education overhaul that banned diversity, equity, and inclusion on campuses. Instead, the DeWine administration will oversee compliance with the new law.
We have some breaking news right now.
All right, that's it. All we wanted to talk about elsewise was the stadium, I think. Yeah, I think so. Was the stadium, yep. For Seton High School. Seton High School is a all-girls school. They are getting a new stadium. It broke ground yesterday. Well, 7/9/2025 it broke ground. So yeah. It says it's a video, but it's not popping up. It looks really nice. But I have to say Baden's is better. Okay, it's not letting me pop up the video, so I'm gonna post this on my Twitter page. It's not letting me pop it up on my computer. Alright, it's been posted. Alright. That's all we have, guys. We went through all of that. I'll post this Buffalo Bills thing on there too. But I think that's all we had for today. So, let's talk about weather, and we shall head on out of here. Sorry it's so late. Okay. Let's talk about weather, and we shall head on out of here. Okay, 18 hours ago, Rams Ron Gold detailed progress with his running back room. It just popped up. All right. But yeah, the Seton High School Stadium is in the picture when you first click on the video, that picture. That's what it looks like. Part of it looks like. So, if you were wondering. Alright. Let's see here. Let's talk about weather, and we shall head on out of here. Commanders reveal bold new look with powerful nod to the past. Which means they'll kind of look like the Washington Redskins, but without the Redskins logo. But they are wanting the Redskin logo back, so we don't know. We'll just have to see. So, let's talk about weather. So, today's weather. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Alright, weather. Alright. So, Thursday, rain for the Dayton area. Or hold on, we'll do Cincinnati first. Thunderstorms for the Cincinnati area. High at 87, low at 69. Friday, partly cloudy, high at 89, low at 72 with chance of thunderstorms. Saturday, on thunderstorms, high at 90, low at 71. Sunday, thunderstorms, high 86, low 69. Monday, thunderstorms, high 85, low 70. Tuesday, thunderstorms, high 90, low 70. Wednesday, thunderstorms, high 88, low 71. Next Thursday, thunderstorms, high 84, low 66. Next Friday, thunderstorms, high 82, low 65. Next Saturday, partly cloudy, high 84, low 63. Now Dayton. Thursday, rain, high 87, low 70. Friday, partly cloudy, high 91, low 73. Saturday, thunderstorms, high 90, low 73. Sunday, thunderstorms, high 86, low 71. Monday, partly cloudy, high 87, low 69. Tuesday, partly cloudy, high 90, low 72. Wednesday, thunderstorms, high 89, low 71. Thursday, next Thursday, is thunderstorms, high 82, low 65. Friday, partly cloudy, high 81, low 62. And then next Saturday, partly sunny, few sun and few clouds. High 82, low of 65 for your Dayton area. So, hold on a second. Thank you guys for watching this live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. And we shall see you guys in the next video. or live stream. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. And we out.
We will I like it. this weekend on Saturday and Sunday.
Antidepressants may antidepressants may increase